The information, comments, and recommendations contained herein are not within the scope of investment consultancy. Investment advisory service is provided within the framework of the investment advisory service to be signed between the customer and beekeeping institutions, per education companies, non-deposit accepting banks. My comments on this channel are only my personal comments. These comments belong to you. Your financial situation and risk return may not be appropriate. Therefore, no investment should be made based on the information and comments on my channel.
Good evening to everyone. Today is a very important day for global markets. As you know, inflation data is announced in the USA in the second week of every month, and this inflation data is in both dollars, TL, and ounces. It causes serious movements in gold, ounces of silver, and other instruments, and in our comments this week, I also stated that we will closely follow the inflation data in America on Thursday. Fed minutes were published on Wednesday evening. Fed minutes were published here on Wednesday evening. Well, regarding the 50 basis point interest rate cut, the Fed members, it has been announced that there is a consensus, but there are still disagreements within the Fed itself, among the Fed members, and therefore here. It is about the future. Especially after the November 5th American elections, there is a possibility that the differences of opinion will increase among the Fed members. So, what kind of interest rate will the Federal Reserve of America, decide in 2025? Uncertainty continues here, but by the end of the year, the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Central Bank, will cut interest rates by 25 basis points at the next meeting. It decreased from 2.5% to 2% on an annual basis. Well, they had an expectation of around 2.2%. Well, the economic management expected it to be around 2.4%, but on a monthly basis, there was an increase of 0.2 points in September. Another important data on the inflation side is that unemployment applications in America are 2023. Today, the number of unemployment applications is 258,000 in America, which is a very serious number. What does this mean? I would like to remind you that I have prepared for December. At some point, the footsteps of that perfect storm that I was waiting for in December started to sound. On the mortgage credit side, well, on the housing sales side, we will experience serious turbulence both in unemployment applications in December and this period that I call the perfect storm. Well, the numerical values show us that this is coming. So please protect your assets and watch every decline, especially on the gold and silver side. I would like to buy and sell again if you consider the decline as a buying opportunity. Today, before the inflation data in the United States was announced, there was a gram of gold that dropped to 315 lira in both my Twitter and Instagram messages, and in my other videos, I had warnings to finish this job by making gradual purchases and this week, or make good use of next week. We had an expectation of a decrease in the ounce gold side and a decrease in the gram gold side. We continue to see these decreases again this week. Now let's start our conversation by interpreting the instruments in all markets one by one. Our hours are 17. Borsa Istanbul 100 index is 902 at 8 points, 1.14%. There is a sale again. Selling well. Today it showed upward movements again during the day, but it could not be permanent. It rose to the level of 9,176 points. Will it hold above the 999,000 point level again? We will continue to follow it closely, but technically we will continue to follow the 8,800 to 9,200 point range. The question and answer is the same. Is it the stock market or agricultural commodities? My answer is agricultural commodities, and I want to state my preference on this side for 2 weeks in all my videos, frequently just for awareness. The dollar rate is at the level of 34.20 cents. The official penny is on the official rate side, but when we look at the free markets, there is a dollar TL rate below the official rate. This also means we will see a decrease in the official exchange rate. Currently, in the free markets, the dollar is in the range of 34.12 to 34.19, that is, below the level of 3,420 lira. In the free markets, foreign currency is cheaper. The TL rate is at the level of 37L56 Kurush, but in the free markets it is still lower on the physical side. There is an exchange rate of 37.28 in the TL exchange rate 37.42, a price in the TL exchange rate as the depreciation on the euro side continues. The scissors open and there is a euro that becomes cheaper. Since everyone is running away from the euro, you can find some cheaper euros in the markets. I would especially like to point out the difference between the free markets and the official exchange rate. The euro-dollar parity had jumped above the 1.0 level at the level of 1.940, but I had a warning here. Well, 1.08 may fall to 1.05 in the future. Yes, there is a risk of 1.13 above, but music. It is not suppressed, but the euro has remained a little weaker against the dollar and continues to remain weak. Until 26.28, the band range we are currently following at the dollar level has not changed yet. The range of $2,580 to $2,680 has decreased to the level of $2,603. It has recovered again after the E-data. My expectation for the $2,580 level continues, and our roadmap here was as follows. We will finish this job by making gradual purchases within this month, and therefore, our friends who are buying percent need to close this page completely by buying 2,582, 1,575, 2,591.25, 1,225 in the range of $2,552,600 below. And yesterday, all of our friends closed the percent position, and on the dollar-based downside, we continue to wait for the level of $2,580 gram gold 3.15 in the free markets. It fell to the lira level. Today, it fell to the lira level and again, see from my social media account. Gram gold, which was at the level of 3,100 lira, dropped to the level of 3.15 lira. Close this business by buying at least half of it. Yes, our expectation regarding the 29.80 lira support level below continues for ounce reasons, but in order not to risk it since the incoming news flows are quite annoying, I had warned you to finish this job by buying percent again. My same opinion is valid now. We see that those who bought at 315 lira level have made a good decision and the other percent again. Well, buy twice gradually by following the ounce gold. They can do it. Our expectation for gram gold TL price at the end of the year is in the range of 3,000 to 3,500 liras. We will continue to see such figures every month, such as 3,100-3,200-3,300. The price of silver at 10 is 30.90, that is, $31. It completes the day with an increase of 1.54%. On the silver side, it is up to the level of $0.30. There was a sharp decline, again in the analysis reports and social media posts I made throughout this week. We closed our full position on the silver side. That ledger is now closed for us. Art is now a Rio, so we closed our silver position because the ratio was too high, and I think those who took those warnings into consideration and closed the silver position, he made a good decision. The gram price of silver decreased from 35.5 lira to 33.87 kurush. Here too, those who bought yesterday made a good decision in my opinion. Bitlo, your capital is ready. Spending 000T has never been easier. Step into the world with advantages. Let your era begin. The barrel price of oil ends the day with a 1.41% increase at the level of $77.66. This recovery in oil prices continues to hover around the $75,880 range, but with the news flows from the Middle East, I can say that I see a strong possibility of continuing upward movements in prices. Bitcoin is at the level of $6.85. Well, there is a 77% increase in value. Here, on the Bitcoin side, there may be sags below the level of $60,000, which corresponds to $58,500. The band range you need to follow on the Bitcoin side is $58,500 to $62,500 range is 0.000. I will continue to see every fall below the dollar level as a buying opportunity. Again, I would like to reiterate that my prediction for Bitcoin at the end of the year is the $8,000 level. The dollar index is at the 102.60 level. There is a recovery here again, but in general it continues to try to balance at the 100,102 level. Currently, it is above the 102 level in international markets. The dollar is strong. Well, it will probably move downwards again. I guess it will definitely be supported in the last quarter of the year. There are two important warnings. First, as I mentioned before, there is a difference between the official exchange rate and the free market. Exchange rates are cheaper in free markets, and we have friends who need to buy foreign currency, not from the bank. They can find a cheaper foreign currency in the free markets. If you are going to make a transaction in the bank, you have to buy foreign currency. If you withdraw your foreign currency and buy it from the free markets, it is cheaper. Secondly, look at the prices falling. It was at the level of 3,100 lira. Today it dropped to the level of 3.15 lira. Now it is at the level of 3,030 lira. It may probably fall below the 3,000 lira level again this time. We will finish this job by purchasing 2U50. But remember this, friends, my second important warning is that as the prices decrease, they open the scissors. So, do not be mistaken about the screen prices. If those prices correspond to 2,980 liras, if our expectation comes true, be sure to follow the ounce gold to buy percent, not the gram gold. When it drops to $280, you will buy the gram of gold in front of you from the amount of that minute and that second, and you will finish this job. Because as the price goes up, they open a spread and they do not sell gold for cheap. That's why you have to make good use of these spreads. Dear friends, the week is almost over. A general evaluation will be made again tomorrow. We will do it again. The developments that increase the tension in the Middle East are continuing. On the other hand, an important warning will be this. I drew attention to this issue in my video on Tuesday evening, especially in the Inner Gold group. I will carry out a study on the problem of the mines in both the stone problem and the wire problem, and I will solve this problem from the root. As I mentioned, some professional chambers are having such interesting conversations in their WhatsApp groups and trying to do something. I am aware of all of them, of course. I would especially like to point out to you that this problem has existed in Turkey for years. Everyone knew about this problem, but no one has solved this problem. Everyone has undertaken a task. I hope those friends of ours will solve this problem. This is the first one. But rather than solving this problem by targeting me, what did I tell you in my other video? I am going down a difficult path. They will definitely target me. They will be disturbed. He focused on me rather than solving it. Who is Islam Memes? Who is Islam Memes? He is meeting with the minister. Who is Islam Memes? Instead of people targeting me, there is a problem. There is a theft. They return to the one who caught the thief. I will have good answers. Now I am collecting the data. What are they talking about? What are they talking about in group recruitment? I am aware of all of them. I will give you more detailed information about this subject. I am preparing a nice video for tomorrow evening. I am preparing a nice video for you tomorrow night. Who is in this movie? I am preparing it. You will watch it with pleasure. How right I was about this issue. How much good work I did for this country by solving this problem. We will see together tomorrow evening. Dear friends, I would like to touch upon the issue of gold and silver once again. As you know, our silver position was closed yesterday. Our friends who did not close it should close the second one yesterday. Percent those who made purchases, those who paid attention to the warnings, take a good look. This, especially after the Central Bank of America's interest rate decision, this Israeli tension from above, etc. They locked up a lot of goods from above. So in Turkish, there were many people who made high costs, fearful and panicked. What did we do? Very relaxed and in a pleasant way? We waited. See how nice it is when you wait, isn't it? Markets are enjoyable like that, not with stress or tension. You will be relaxed like us. You will be pleasant. You will follow the economy in the pleasant way, you know. There is no need for tension. There is no need for stress. If money makes you stressed, do not get involved in this market. That is why we are on that side. We have been sitting on the sidelines for a week with pleasure and watched what was going to happen. We watched people buy goods from above. Despite all our warnings, we have been waiting for a pleasant 3 weeks, but we will continue to wait. The numbers we expected did not come, but small investors, look, small investors, especially since they are long-term investors, did you buy percent in your pocket? If you put it in, it will be a blessing. Now you have 50 TL or percent dollars in your hand. Okay, you can make similar moves slowly for the other percent, but our red line is that we are not going into these weekends in the open. Tomorrow is Friday. What should we do? Tomorrow, whichever instrument is cheap, we buy the cheapest one. And the week we enter the end that way, that is, we do not enter in the open, we enter in the goods. Therefore, it is very important not to enter in the open on the weekends, dear friends. Tomorrow evening, I will tell you all of them in detail from A to Z. I greet you, your children, and your family again in advance. Good evening.